Hey guys, it's Timmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 13th of April, 2022 to talk about everything that went down tonight on AEW Dynamite. And, it was a good show-ish, I guess you could say. I didn't think the show was great or anything. I mean, there was a lot of not good stuff in my opinion. Maybe a lot is the wrong word. But I will tell you, this show ended on a complete flop. This was probably just as bad, if not worse, than when the first time we met the Dark Order. When they did that whole Dark Order attacking the Elite and there was somebody doing the bad punches stuff. This was probably that, if not worse. This was bad. AEW now got their own Great Khali. And it's just like, oh no. Oh, why? They needed a 2-minute overrun for that? You couldn't have cut anything else out of this show. Or even that? Like, ooh. Hype up, we got an overrun. It may just be a couple of minutes, but we got an overrun. And it's just that. Like, are you freaking kidding me? And then you do the whole, and we'll talk about it when we get to it, the lights off thing. So you know someone's going to appear. But you think it's going to be somebody of note, somebody big, somebody with a name, and it's not. And it's not. And you're just sitting here going, what? And if you were the crowd in the building, you were probably one of them chanting, "We don't know you. We don't know you," because that's what they were chanting. When the show went off the air, the Fight TV feed actually cut back for some weird reason. You can hear the crowd chanting, "We don't know you. We don't know you." So it's just like, oh, man. Not good at all. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and Twitter.com/PWU Unlimited. Remember, if you are watching on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you're already paying Jeff Bezos for Amazon Prime, whether that's video or shipping, I think it's all lumped into one now, but whether it's for video or for shipping, you get a Prime Gaming account. You take that Amazon Prime account, you take that Twitch account, you link them together, bada bing, bada boom, you're Prime Gaming. With that, with that, you get a number of different things like free games. You get free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I'd greatly appreciate it if you subscribed right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Why? My 3D software opening up. Let me close this really fast. All right, there we go. But on the flip side, if you're watching over on YouTube, you can help us out over there as well with a super chat or a super sticker donation. Remember, all super chats do get read live on the air. Plus, if you hit that join button down below, you can become a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to news, early access to podcast episodes, early access to non-news videos, and so much more tomorrow, maybe tonight, but most likely in the morning. I'm going to be putting up my graphics for WrestleMania Backlash this year. I'm giving you guys, as tier 2 subscribers on either YouTube or Patreon, giving you guys the project files for Photoshop and for After Effects. So that way, if you guys want to go in there and see how I create those, or even want to use them for yourselves, please give credit. You guys will have those files available to you to use. But with that, like I said, you can either do that, become a channel member, and get all those perks on YouTube, or even easier, even better, because it's more in just one quick defined area, patreon.com PW Unlimited. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy a game. Whether you're buying a brand new game like Sifu or you're buying something old like Grand Theft Auto 5, it's going to ask you at checkout if you have a creator code, and you do. Creator code PW Unlimited. Use code PW Unlimited at checkout, and you will be directly supporting us right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. But it doesn't just have to be on the Epic Game Store on your computer. It can also be Fall Guys, Rocket League, or Fortnite on your PlayStation. Well, so Fortnite or Rocket League on your PlayStation, Xbox, or Switch. Fall Guys on your PlayStation. On the store pages, on any of those, it will say, do you have a creator code? You put it at the bottom of the store pages, and you put in PW Unlimited. Very, very, very great way for you guys to not spend anything extra. If you're already buying stuff in those games or buying a game from the Epic Store, you know what? Use the code and support us. I do want to thank, I'm probably going to butcher your name, Jock Hardison, for the super sticker donation. Really, really do appreciate that one, Jock. Really appreciate that. But let's get in and talk about AEW Dynamite that kicked off Cult of Personality, CM Punk. Punk came out, did his big entrance. Then Penta Oscuro came out and did his big entrance. And the whole time, I didn't quite like this. The whole time he's doing his entrance, Punk's in the ring going, who's this guy? What's this? This is da-da-da-da. And then he gets in the ring. He's like, hey, ref, make sure he gets that shovel out of there. And I don't know. I felt like Punk was talking down to Penta, even though Penta was just a sacrificial lamb here to CM Punk. Thank you for that, Jacques. I tried, and I guess I did it right. So, they got in each other's faces early on and had a fun chop battle. Not as fun as the main event chop battle. Penta hit a thrust kick, and Punk came back and took him down. Penta returned fire with Sling Blade for a 2. Punk avoided a baseball slide and landed a tope suicida before the commercial break. Once back from the break, Punk went for a top rope Frankensteiner, but slipped on the top rope and clutched his knee. Penta kept up the attack as Punk couldn't put any pressure on the knee. Punk blocked a strike at one point and came back with the top rope Frankensteiner. He followed it up with the corner knee rising, and Penta fought out of the GTS attempt. Now, I don't know if this was just Punk selling, but right before he did that running knee into the corner, he looked tired. He looked winded. He was moving slow. So Penta looked to snap Punk's arm at one point, and Punk turned it into an Anaconda Vice, actually. Penta reached ropes to escape, and they fought on the apron. Punk escaped the Fear Factor and landed a high kick followed by a springboard clothesline. There was a rising knee and a short arm clothesline that followed. Punk called for the GTS, and Penta blocked it and went for the Fear Factor. Punk escaped and was hit with an enziguri, allowing the two men to trade cradles here for a little moment. Penta then landed the thrust kick. Punk caught a springboard and hit the GTS out of midair and picked up the victory, so Punk picks up the win. Then in a weird, dumb kind of segment, we got the JAS, and they're arriving on a plane, and they're on the tarmac, right? So they're on the tarmac, and Jericho, Garcia, Hager jump out of the plane. All of a sudden, you hear people yelling, and it's a car in front of the plane with Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz. And they're like, we got you guys, ha, 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 we're everywhere you are, something like that. Car drives off, you see 2.0 on the ground. My first question is, shouldn't 2.0 have been in the plane with them? Why was 2.0 not on the plane? Did they have to get here their own way and still had to meet them on the tarmac? This made absolutely no sense at all. And the only thing I can try to say to justify this is, Jericho's supposed to be a sports entertainer, and the sports entertainment company does segments like this all the time where like things just don't add up when they're supposed to add up all in one thing. So is that just a rib on a lot of times WWE doing a backstage segment or something? And it's like, why did that happen if that happened? That's supposed to happen if that's supposed to happen. If this person's in this room, why weren't they in that room with them, or vice versa, or so forth? So I don't know if this was just a dumb and poor planning, or if it was supposed to be a rib on WWE's not making sense segments. As we move forward, we had the first title match of the night. Is for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus against Red Dragon, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish. Also, it's interesting that they keep calling them Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. They don't say Jurassic Express as much anymore, unless I'm just not paying attention to commentary. But I don't hear them saying Jurassic Express as much on commentary anymore. I keep hearing Luchasaurus or the big green masked dinosaur or the big green masked lizard and Jungle Jack Perry. Jungle Boy and Bobby Fish paired off early before Luchasaurus and O'Reilly did the same. Luchasaurus took 2 dragon screws, one leveraged over the ropes to allow Red Dragon to take control. O'Reilly ran into a Luchasaurus knee with a ladder reaching Jungle Boy for the tag. Jungle Boy hit a rebound lariat before landing multiple suicide dives. Red Dragon avoided a third, but Luchasaurus took them out with an apron moonsault. Jungle Boy then wiped out Fish with a tope con Grillo. Red Dragon did eventually regain control when Jungle Boy tried to re-enter the ring using the ropes to target his limbs. Upon return, Jungle Boy used his agility to escape to Luchasaurus for the hot tag. Luchasaurus ran wild on both of Red Dragon with strikes and repeated corner slaps. He then hit a double choke slam followed by a standing moonsault for a near fall. Jungle Boy tagged in, and they hit an elbow drop side slam combo for a near fall. Fish got a blind tag, and Red Dragon hit a DDT into a German suplex for a 2. O'Reilly locked on a cross arm breaker, but Jungle Boy reached the ropes for a break. 1 second, my notes froze. Now I can scroll. Okay, notes froze, couldn't scroll, then it went. There we go. Okay. Where was Jungle Boy and O'Reilly fought on the top rope, and Luchasaurus wanted to go for the Doomsday device, but O'Reilly turned it into a guillotine, and Fish hit an avalanche Falcon Arrow, forcing Luchasaurus to break up the pin. O'Reilly laid in strike combinations on Luchasaurus, leading to a parade of big moves. Luchasaurus hit the tail whip on Fish, then Jungle Boy hit I always butcher this name, Thoracic Express to pick up the victory. After the match, O'Reilly attacked the champions with a chair. FTR came out and held up their belts and then exchanged looks at Red Dragon and the champions. So it's like, oh no. Are they really going to do what I think they're going to do? Red Dragon's going to get another title shot, but this time against FTR? I hope not. They just lost this tag title shot. They don't need to earn it. Rankings? Come on. Come on. Well, unless, what are they going to do? FTR against Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy for all the belts? I have no idea what's going on here. I mean, I have a semblance of what they could do, but I don't know what it is. I just hope if Red Dragon doesn't get another title shot, because they've lost 2 title shots in a row now. Triple threat at the pay-per-view and this one. They don't need another one right now. And what are we doing? FTR going for all the gold? FTR going to hold 3 belts? Technically 6. The Blackpool Combat Club, including Wheeler Yuta, who is now in the group, were all backstage. They say that they are facing the Gun Club in a trios match this Friday. Gun Club are 24-0 apparently. I did not know that, which I don't think is true, but whatever. Moxley says he doesn't like the Gun Club, so he's going to break their faces. Yuta closed by saying, on Friday, the real work begins. And I want to pull up a tweet from Wheeler Yuta that I found funny. Because Wheeler Yuta yesterday was announced for Saturday's New Japan show. I got the tweet right here. We're teaming with Rocky Romero to take on the LA Dojo guys. I think one's Carl Fredericks and who is it? No, not Carl Fredericks. They're facing DKC and Kevin Knight. But I thought this tweet was kind of funny and I wanted to share it with you guys. Zoom in here. So in New Japan, Wheeler Yuta is still part of Chaos, I guess. which technically in AEW, he was part of Chaos because he was part of Best Friends, and Best Friends got put in Chaos. But he tweeted this out that says, Okada told me today he's like a month and a half behind on AEW. So nobody tell him please and thank you. Which I think he means no one tell him that I left Best Friends and am now with those other guys. I thought that was really funny. This tweet did go out last night. Because technically, if he's not in Best Friends, he ain't part of Chaos anymore. Rocky, what are you doing teaming with the enemy? We had a backstage segment that was a little weird as well. Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm, and they're looking at each other. And I think it was Tony Schiavone. I didn't write it down. Maybe it was Alex Marvez. One of them doing a little interview thing here. And he's like, so Tony Khan has not yet announced the brackets for the Owen Hart tournament, but he has affirmed that these two women, Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm, will meet in the first round. And Jamie Hayter says, I'm so happy to be facing you. We kind of came up the same way. We honed our craft in Japan and the UK and all around Europe, just like Owen did. Now I'm ready to prove that I'm better than you. Tony Storm got closer to her and closer to her, closer to her and closer to her, and then walked off. And Jamie Hayter goes, you ain't going to say anything? You're just going to leave? Typical. Another thing I'm ready over, MJF and Wardlow. I'm over this bull crap. We had Captain Sean Dean against MJF, ended via countout. MJF couldn't unzip his jacket as his scarf was stuck in the zipper. Kind of funny. It was a ruse, though. Not really that funny in the end. The ruse attacked Dean from behind to make him think that MJF was It was a way to think that MJF was distracted by himself to distract Dean to not pay attention to him. Cameras cut backstage all of a sudden. I'm tired of this shit already. Cameras cut backstage with security laid out. Get better fucking security! 4 weeks now? Maybe it's only 3. But shit! Who didn't see this bull crap coming? It's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Wardlow just comes in, knocks out security again. It's so dumb. MJF was concerned for the moment, but then resumed beating down Sean Dean. Wardlow then appeared behind MJF in the stands with an AEW staff shirt and mask on. He chased MJF up the ramp, and Spears hit him with a chair, which Wardlow barely sold. Security then ran down to stop Wardlow, but Wardlow ran through them until a crew of like a dozen or more men finally restrained him. The official was counting out MJF as MJF jumped out of the ring, but then the crew of security, I guess, were in the way, so MJF couldn't get back in the ring, and he got counted out. MJF then got on the mic and implored Bryce Remsburg. Well, first, before getting counted out, he got on the mic and said, don't count 10. And I'm like, just get in the fucking ring! He's like, I'll pay you triple if you don't count 10. And Remsburg's just like, 9, 10. And I'm like, pay you triple? You ain't paying the refs, you dumb mother. This whole thing was just stupid. Dumb. MJF couldn't get back into the ring. He's going to pay the ref. I'll pay you triple. Triple what? You ain't paying him anyways. Wardlow always beating down the security. I'm over it already. This shit is stupid. Dumb. And it got even dumber later. After the match, MJF got in Remsburg's face and shoved him. Spears broke him up. Cameras then cut backstage where Wardlow was still beating people up. And he demanded, MJF, release him from his contract. I hate this. This is like the dumbest thing in wrestling, in my opinion. One of. Because it's just stupid. Like, A, MJF owns Wardlow? No, he signed to AEW. We've already got the years ago. Wardlow is all elite graphics. So no, MJF don't own you. So you're going to get all this security every week and Wardlow's just going to blow through them? MJF, why couldn't MJF get back in the ring? That's the biggest dumbest. That he's wasting time on the mic. Hey, don't count to 10. I'll pay you a trip. Fuck you. God, they think we're dumb. Oh, don't get me started on that since Saturday. We'll talk about that stupid shit in a minute. Darby Allin video played where he basically challenged Andrade to a coffin match. The match is happening next week. Malachi Black addressed Fuego del Sol. He wants Fuego to be afraid of the shadows. We then had so they go, next up after the break, we've got the JAS against Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz. And it's JR announcing this, right? And he goes, in a trios match or 6-man tag, whichever you prefer to call it. I'm like, graphics is trios match. Go with that, bud. I just thought it was so funny when he goes, in a trios match or 6-man tag, if that's what you prefer to call it. I'm like, man, JR. That's like, it's Jungle Boy, Jungle Jack. JR just says whatever. So this match goes on, starts, and Santana and Jericho kick it off. The former took the ladder down with two teams brawling on the outside. Ortiz and Hager paired off, and a power slam from Hager allowed JAS to take control ahead of a commercial break. Once back, Ortiz got some space and was briefly cut off by Garcia, but then finally escaped to reach Kingston for the hot tag. Kingston dispatched his opponent on the apron before hitting a double underhook suplex. Santana hit the 3 amigo suplexes, followed by a frog splash for a 2. Ortiz tagged in, kept up the attack as Kingston took out Hager with a suicide dive. Ortiz just tossed Garcia into Jericho as Santana landed a dive on Hager. 2.0 then ran down, but Ortiz wiped them out with another flip dive. Garcia was all alone in the ring and Kingston tagged in. He hit an exploder suplex. Garcia avoided a spinning back fist and Jericho hit Kingston with Floyd the Bat from behind as Garcia covered him to make the pin. Cool. Cheating to win. After the match, the JAS. Why did I write JYS? JAS continued their beatdown on Kingston and company. Jericho hit Santana with a Judas effect and stood tall at the end of the segment. I feel bad for Santana and Ortiz. Basically, almost the whole time they've been in AEW, they've been lackeys for somebody because they were part of the inner circle. They were Jericho's guys. And then literally, Jim Ross said Kingston and his boys. Didn't even say their names. When he said the whole trios match or 6-man tag, he said Kingston and his boys. Like, damn. You can't even say Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz. You got to say Kingston and his boys. And they were just part of the inner circle with Chris Jericho back in the day. So it's like, fuck. These guys can't just have their own identity and be Santana and Ortiz by themselves on their own. Nope. Going in next, they're going to leave Eddie Kingston. They're going to bring in, what's his name? Conan. They're going to be Conan's boys. Like, I don't know. So then we got MJF, Sean Spears, and Mark Sterling. And MJF was out of his mind here. He said that he doesn't mind our sympathy or doesn't need our sympathy because he has the money. And that's what makes the world go round. Sterling said that MJF has the rights to do whatever he wants and book Wardlow however he chooses. So MJF put a match together. He says, Wardlow, you're a pig. And a pig needs to be taken down by a butcher. He pays Andrade's guy, Jose. And the butcher jumps in frame and I go, okay, so Wardlow's just going to beat the butcher. I have absolutely zero anticipation for this match. Like, I care this much for this match because it's the butcher. Another guy that has been just seen as somebody's lackey and a guy that can get beat. That's all the butcher is. A guy that can just, you got him on your roster to beat him. That's all he is. When's the last time, and I'm going to look this up really fast, the Butcher cage match. When's the last time the Butcher actually won anything significant in AEW? Let's look really fast. Let's see. Loss. Okay, they won a match on, they won a couple matches on Dark in April, or no, the beginning of March against Alan Angels and Colt Cabana, Charlie Bravo, and Sean Dean. Like, guys that, yeah, it doesn't even matter. Other than that, they hadn't won another match like 4 months before that. So it's like, I don't know. It's not that good. The Butcher? Really? Everyone knows it's going to happen. Wardlow's going to maul through him. That's all it is. No one's going to care. Also, Satnam Singh, he's all elite. The big Indian guy. I think we've gotten this tweet before, though, that Satnam Singh is all elite. But I don't know. I'm not interested. So, damn. Wow. Okay. She's got a really great big opportunity. Can't talk about that I had to basically turn down. So, oh man, that would have been cool. Anyways, back to AEW. Sorry about that. But yeah, I have no interest in Butcher versus Wardlow because we know what it's going to be. We had Jade Cargill backstage as she's waiting to watch the next match. It's Marina Shafir versus Skye Blue. Oh my God, did this match suck? Marina Shafir has gotten no better since last time we saw her in WWE. I don't watch Dark, so I haven't seen any of her Dark matches, to be completely honest. But this died dirty. And it didn't help with the baddie section in the front row booing her the whole time either. Because the crowd was dead silent. Dead silent. She did 4 things. And because the crowd was dead silent, not cheering, booing, nothing, but you got these women in the front row booing her, that's all you hear. And it sucked. Match was bad. The whole presentation was bad. The problem ain't Marina Shafir. The problem is that she can't wrestle. And it sucked. So Shafir took Skye Blue down with a judo throw. But really, it was, she picked her up and just dropped her, but kind of like tossed her. Blue went for a DDT. Shafir shrugged it off, turned it into a bear hug, and tossed her down again. She then started throwing punches. And then she hit an overhead throw, thrust kick, and put her in a triangle. 4 moves. Judo throw, thrust kick, punches, triangle. That's it. Like, what? This was dumb. And then they kept cutting back and forth between this short-ass match of Jade watching in the back. Whatever. Since Saturday says, hey, Tim, how many people are managed by Mark Sterling? That's a good question. We saw Mark Sterling 3 times tonight. Now, with MJF, he's not MJF's manager. He's MJF's personal lawyer. But he is the manager of Jade Cargill. And I guess, I don't know, this is the first time I've seen this, he's the manager of Tony Nese as well. Because in the next segment, they sent it to Chloe Naylor, the daughter of, I think stepdaughter maybe, of DDP. She went to interview Hook. It was an earlier today thing. She tried to interview Hook, and Tony Nese and Mark Sterling walk into this gym. And they're like, oh, Hook, you're interviewing a kid that just got stuff handed to him. Tony Nese over here earned everything he's gotten. And Naylor leaves. Hook they walk off randomly. They talk crap and then walk off. And then Hook's got like a medicine ball in his hand, and we see Danhausen, and then he throws the medicine ball over his head, and Danhausen catches it and falls down. I don't know what this was. I guess it's leading to Tony Nese versus Hook. Hook's going to be having his first Dynamite match next week. But this also was bad. It made no sense. And like if they would have told us, oh, Hook's going to take on Tony Nese next week, cool. That would have made sense. But no. They just said, Hook makes his Dynamite debut next week. I'm like, oh, okay. Gabriel says, this happened in the last Rampage. Mark Sterling offered to talk to Tony Nese. I didn't watch the last Rampage. You know what I was doing during Rampage? Reviewing SmackDown. I didn't watch the last Rampage. Like, I lied. All I watched from Rampage was Mox and Yuta. I actually went back and watched that match. Anything else? I didn't see. With Rampage, we've been conditioned that unless it's a live episode of Rampage, like this Friday, it don't matter. It don't matter as much as Dark and Dark Elevation don't matter for the most part. Just like Battle of the Belts this weekend. That don't matter. What would you rather watch this weekend? But we'll talk about the lineup in a minute. Battle of the Belts or the New Japan Windy City event? We'll talk about this in a second because we're coming up on this after the next match. Dan Lambert and Men of the Year were backstage. They called out Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti being the most hated, what you call them. They're the most hated couple in all of wrestling history, which fans do not like them. Last week, apparently, when they were doing their, and they didn't quite show this per se on television, but during the break last week, they were doing the cue cards thing. And there's no sound because it's picture in picture, right? But apparently, the whole time, the live crowd was booing them big time. Like, ugh. People do not like Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti at all. And it's not just because of what people think about them and their relationship. It's just the way they're presented. They're supposed to be baby faces, but they're presented as the most, we're hot, we're sexy, we're kind of heel couple, to be honest, where they don't go out and fully say it, but they basically say it. We're hotter than you, we're sexier than you. And they need to just make them fucking heels. Ty Conti and Sammy Guevara as a couple on television need to just be heels that just go straight, especially we're summertime now, bikini weather, beach pool weather. They need to just dive deep into the whole, we're hotter than you, we're better than you, we're sexier than you kind of thing. I know they already have MJF and CM Punk that do the I'm better than you thing, but fuck it. They already do it on Twitter with the whole, look at us at the beach, look at us at the lake, look at us by the pool in our bikinis and making out and basically fucking, you know? It's like shit. And like I said, last week, they weren't on the show this week, but last week when they did the cue card segment thing, we didn't hear the sound because it was picture in picture, but they were, from someone I talked to in the live building, getting booed. So, I don't know. We had Team Taz, Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs against Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Ricky Starks got a huge reaction because he's a hometown boy in New Orleans. Or as people locals say it, maybe, I don't know, Nolans, as some people say. Nolans. But regardless, Hobbs and Swerve started it off with the former establishing his power advantage using a fallaway slam. They also made reference to Swerve taking way too long to take his jacket off and maybe not being fully invested at the start of this match. Hometown boy Starks tagged in and got a huge reaction, hitting an Undertaker-style old school and taking Swerve down with the power slam. Swerve came back, though, with a couple kicks and a drop kick, allowing Lee to tag in. Lee sent both Hobbs and Starks to the outside. Swerve then launched himself off Lee's chest to take out Team Taz with a moonsault ahead of the commercial break. During the break, Team Taz regained control, but a dropkick of Swerve allowed him to reach Lee again for the hot tag. Me, it felt like they kind of did the same little sequence there twice with Swerve going for the tag. Anyways, Team Taz tried to cut off Lee's run of offense, but Lee performed a great leapfrog and beeled Starks into his own partner. There was a combo discus forearm from Lee and Swerve that got a 2. Starks countered a rolling cutter into a spear and hit a flipping DDT for a good near fall. Swerve tossed Starks into a Lee pounce for a 2. Then Lee and Hobbs got in each other's faces. Starks used the distraction to hit an enziguri. Lee countered the Rochambeau as Taz walked to ringside. Hobbs broke up a Doomsday device, but was sent into the ring post. Lee perched Starks on the top rope and came back with a diving spear. Starks covered, but was hit by a 450 from Swerve to break it up. Taz then tripped up Lee. Hobbs hit the spine buster and picked up the victory. So there we go. Magnum says, Tim, I heard AEW actually edits out boos for the couple when it comes to Rampage. I don't know that per se. All I know is that that's a storyline thing, kinda, because that's something Scorpio Skye said on Twitter. So I believe that might be storyline. We got some stuff announced. So this week, Rampage is going to be live, but it's going to air early. It's going to air at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. So it's not airing at its normal time right after SmackDown. It's airing right before SmackDown. We have 3 matches announced. The AEW World Championship will be on the line in a Texas death match as Hangman Page defends against Adam Cole. The BCC, the Blackpool Combat Club, will take on the Gun Club. And we have an Owen Hart Foundation tournament qualifier. Ruby Soho against Robin Renegade. Then we got the lineup for Battle of the Belts, which is filmed Friday night, but airs Saturday on TNT. The TNT Championship will be on the line when Scorpio Skye takes on Sammy Guevara. And I go, what? Because hold on. What did Sammy do to earn this match? Like, Sammy's last match was for the TNT title, where he lost the belt. And it's like, okay, are you saying he's just getting a automatic rematch or something? Because what do the rankings look like? That's a good question, actually. Pull up the AEW rankings really fast. AEW rankings, I have them right here. Let's see. So the singles rankings are as followed. Boom, 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 boom. Why is this not? Okay, here we go. So the singles rankings. So Sammy technically is still ranked second after Adam Cole, who was ranked first. Which technically, if you go off of these rankings, fuck, Kazarian should be number 1. Hold up. Hold the phone. Hold on. How does this make any sense? How is Adam Cole 7-1 number 1 when 8-1 is a better record, but 9-1 is even better than that? How do these rankings make any goddamn sense? How is the guy in third not number 1 when he's got a better record, 9-1, than the guy in first and second? Some can even argue 5-0 was better than 7-1 because like if you look at it, you got 7-1. So the 1 knocks the 7 down 2 pegs. This is how some people see it. Every loss knocks your wins down 2 pegs for ranking wise. So technically, that would make your wins a 5. Well, if freaking Penta is actually 5-0, he should be ranked up higher than Adam Cole as well. Like, why do you have rankings if you don't follow them properly or even list them properly? Fuck you, AEW. But yeah, Sammy's just randomly getting a rematch. It says, how is CM Punk 5th? Because he's 5-1. But all we see is the top 5. We don't know who's 6th. We don't know what's 7th. Melvin Benton says, I'm confused about the AEW rankings. So am I, because they're not even listed properly. That's from their Twitter account this morning. I didn't make that graphic. They did. Speaking of next week's AEW Dynamite. Oh, and I got shit to say here. Got Wardlow versus The Butcher. Hook will be in action on Dynamite for the first time. Got a coffin match. Andrade versus Darby Allin. A men's Owen Hart Foundation tournament qualifier. Jungle Boy versus Kyle O'Reilly. And a woman's Owen Hart qualifier. Dr. Britt Baker versus Danielle Camella, the former Vanessa Bourne in WWE. And then, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Khan back at it again, because this graphic popped up on your screen. It said, also next week on Dynamite, Tony Khan will make a huge announcement. Oh, get the fuck out of here with these Tony Khan huge announcements. Because other than, at least he's not saying it's another major announcement. The ROH acquisition was a major announcement. Oh, another huge announcement? Yeah. No. What is it? You signing somebody? Because honestly, out of everybody that is available to be signed right now that I think would sign with AEW, who's there? Who is there? Cesaro? Claudio Cesaro? That's it. That's the only name that would fit huge announcement. Jock says, watch it be launch of the new AEW game. Well, we do know the AEW game is tentatively slated, thanks to a report from Fightful today, for September. But that game is, from what I have heard, in I don't want to say no condition, but in no spot right now to say, oh yeah, we're going to put a date on it, September. Internally, they can say September and say we're pushing for September. And once they get closer to September, then they can say September. But as of right now, that's just a kind of tentative date that they're hoping they can make, but not even sure they can make. Gabriel says Cesaro, John Morrison. I mean, I guess, yeah, John Morrison. But I just don't see... I kind of don't see Morrison signing with AEW, to be honest. I don't. I don't. Cesaro, maybe. Because they would want him for ROH. But I'm just over the whole Tony Khan's got a huge announcement next week on the show. So I think you do enough of these huge announcements where they're kind of lame ducks. And then everyone's just going to be like, that ain't going to pull me in. I mean, yeah, the last big announcement was the ROH acquisition, but they labeled that as a major announcement. Huge is a step down. Huge is like, oh, we signed Keith Lee. Cool. What have you done really with them since? Not much. So then they're going to sign somebody else maybe and make the huge announcement next week. And we're going to do it with them. Not much. So it's like, I'm over it. I've been over it. I know back in 2019, whenever Cody would do the whole, we got a huge announcement coming on Monday, guys. And it would just be, we're going to Boston. Tony Khan would get mad at Cody for hyping it up as a huge announcement. Because he'd say, yeah, but that only suffices a small, minute part of the fan base. So I don't know. Gabriel says, do you think it's a ROH TV deal? I don't know if that's something they would announce on Dynamite, though. That's the thing. I don't know if that's something they would actually announce on Dynamite. Be like, we're here on AEW Dynamite now. Tony Khan's got a huge announcement. Oh, by the way, yeah, ROH is going to start airing on, I don't know, Discovery or something. Hasib Hassan says, isn't Karrion Kross huge? Not really, to be honest. Not really. He was a big signing for WWE and would be a kind of pretty good signing for ROH or for AEW. I wouldn't call him huge right now. I wouldn't call him huge at all, to be honest. Plus, I think he might be doing some of them CYN stuff. Well, no. They can't sign Kross. Kross was just announced for MLW. Kross is, I don't know if he's signed, but I know he's been teased for weeks now and then cut vignettes on MLW television. So he's doing CYN and MLW right now. I doubt he comes into AEW. Roman Sprinkle says, whatever happened to the HBO Max SIG? Well, that was just a rumor of what people thought was going to be the major announcement that turned out to be the ROH announcement. They thought that was going to be like we're signing a deal with HBO Max, kind of like WWE did with Peacock. That's what people thought that announcement was going to be, and then it ended up being we bought ROH. Yeah, just like I said, Magma Lord, he's doing MLW, and he's doing some spot shows here and there with Control Your Narrative. Again, Michael Wallace in the YouTube chat. The HBO Max deal was always just a presumption and something people were predicting AEW could get. We don't know if they've even talked about a HBO Max deal. Everyone just thinks that they're going to get an HBO Max deal or could get an HBO Max deal because Time Warner really likes them. But here's the thing. Discovery is going to be the new people running HBO and HBO Max and Time Warner, so we'll see where that all goes. But yeah, that was never actually a thing. It was just hey, maybe this is what this could be. In the back, Thunder Rosa was being interviewed about her upcoming title defense this week, which is the main event of Battle of the Belts 2. I could care less. Nyla Rose and Thunder Rosa in the main event. I mean, you got, I actually forgot to mention, on Battle of the Belts, there's 3 matches announced. Thunder Rosa defending against Nyla Rose. Maybe I did already announce it. I did already announce it. No, I didn't. Scorpio Skye defending the TNT Championship against Sammy Guevara. The ROH World Championship will be on the line when Jonathan Gresham defends against Dalton Castle. And the AEW Women's World title is the main event. Thunder Rosa versus Nyla Rose. So they're in the back. And Thunder Rosa is getting interviewed about being the champion when up comes Nyla and Vicky with a cake. And they say, yeah, they tell her, happy birthday. You know, they're supposed to be writing on this cake, but it costs extra and you're not worth the extra. And so Thunder Rosa takes the cake and shoves it in Nyla Rose's face. Vicky then says, get her, Nyla, get her. And so she goes to hit Thunder Rosa with a forearm. She hits Vicky. They start brawling. They get broken up. And you hear, I loved this line. They start brawling. She's got cake all over her face. They get broken up by officials. And off in the distance, like off camera, you then hear Nyla go, I love cake and violence. I'm like, oh, that caught me. That popped me right there. Nyla freaking Rose. I love cake and violence. That popped me. Let me go to our main event. The ROH TV Championship on the line, the television title. Minoru Suzuki defending against Samoa Joe. And oh boy, was this everything we wanted and more. So the match starts off and they're just chopping the shit out of each other. They're just chop after chop after slap after slap after chop after slap after chop. And a minute in, 90 seconds in, their chests beat red. Joe is chopping fucking Suzuki so hard that his hand is turning red and almost swelling up a little. It looked like his hand was swelling up. He's hitting Suzuki so hard. His hand was redder than his chest. He's hitting Suzuki so hard. So they're going at it, chops after chops after chops after chops. And then we get a commercial break after, a little bit of a back and forth here. Got picture in picture, and during the break, Joe regained control and had Suzuki in a crossface. Upon return, they let us know, hey, this match can go long. We've been granted extra time. So if this match goes past the top of the hour, we can stay with you, which the match didn't. The match ended just like any other AEW show. 45 to 60 seconds before the top of the hour. Celebrate really quick and go off the air, but they didn't go off the air. Oh boy, they didn't go off the air. Anyways, back to the match. Suzuki escaped Joe's attack, the crossface, and returned some attack with a soccer kick for a 2. He teased the Gotch-style pile driver, but instead opted for one more chop battle. Suzuki baited Joe into a modified choke, and Joe broke it out with a side slam. So Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt at ringside. Remember last week they said they had a gift for Joe. Suzuki came back with the running drop kick and wanted the Gotch pile driver, but Joe powered out. Joe perched Suzuki on the top rope and wanted the muscle buster, but Suzuki turned it into an arm bar. Joe powered out and hit the muscle buster to win the match and become the new Ring of Honor television champion. Basically, the one title he never won. He's the longest reigning AEW World Champion of all time. He's been the pure champion. Now he's got the TV title. So after the match, Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal are up on the stage, and they got this present. And they're like, oh, Joe, we got a present for you. Let's open it and show you what it is. Let's show you what it is. And as Jay Lethal's hand up the bottom of the present box, so they lift the lid off, and it's his hand flipping off Joe. And I go, must be funny? Was that supposed to be humorous and a joke? Because it was dumb. It wasn't funny. Lights go out, and they stay out. And they're out so long, the commentary says, oh, we lose power? And they're out. And they're out. And then they come back on, and the 7-foot guy, Santam Singh, is in the ring. They say he's the first ever Indian-born drafted player to the NFL. We had heard back in the day, like a couple ago, hey, this guy signed AEW. Singh then lays out Joe, and it does not look good. Tony Schiavone then lets us know, that's Sadaman Singh. He's been trained at the AEW. Gets quiet for a second. You know, he's got ties to Sanjay Dutt and them. He's been trained at the AEW training facility out in Atlanta, Georgia by Sanjay Dutt. And I'm like, AEW training facility? Wow. Wow. They won't say Nightmare Factory. These people won't say Nightmare Factory. Now when they have to reference the Nightmare Factory, it's the AEW training facility in Atlanta, Georgia. They won't say Nightmare Factory. So anyway, this guy lays out Joe with chop. Then the vice grip, and he's squeezing Joe's head. And I go, man, if this guy ain't fucking Khali, what the hell? And I don't mean it as he's fucking Khali. I mean, if this guy's not like fucking, if Tony Khan didn't just go, in 2006, I liked when the Great Khali showed up and attacked The Undertaker, so I'm going to do the same thing with the big Indian guy and present him in the same way. A vice grip to the head, and guys smaller than him just running around going, get him, get him. It's fucking Khali and Rajan Singh all over again. It's exactly what it is. He's chopped him down, vice grip, and that was it. I moved slow. I don't know what this is going to end up being. But then Lethal hits the lethal injection. And then they pose as the show goes off the air. 2 minutes past the top of the hour. So that's why they needed the overrun. Then, if you're watching the Fight TV, which I wasn't, but if you're watching the Fight TV feed, which I wasn't watching, but then I saw clips of it, it goes out and you just see the Dynamite logo. If you watch TBS, it goes to Rat in the Kitchen. But it shows the Dynamite logo. Then all of a sudden it cuts back, and the crowd's going, we don't know you. We don't know you. We don't know you. And then it cuts again. Man, was this horrible. Man, was this just a bad ending segment. No, Gabriel, you can't compare this to Grayson Waller and Sangha or AJ Styles and Omos. Because this guy is as bad as Great Khali. All he's got is smack to the head and a vice grip. At least Sangha, as we saw last night on NXT, could work a little. And be, at times if he would have needed to for that group because Grayson Waller was hurt. The guy taking everything and doing everything. This guy, I don't think, can even do that. I don't even think this guy can be competently put into the ring in like a spot that Sangha was last night on NXT. So it's like, oh, man, was this a bad way to end this show. Like I said, this was probably just as bad as October 2019, or maybe it was November 2019, but whatever it was, 2019, the Dark Order attacking the Elite and those bad punches and whatever that just god-awful segment was that made Tony Khan go, oh, yeah, nope, you guys don't have as much power as you think. You're going to book shit like that? I'm taking over creative. That's the turning point when Tony Khan said, I'm taking over creative. Then he booked some awful ending to this show. Man, was this bad. Man, was that a bad way to end this show. I get what they're looking for here. Shock factor of the big guy taking down Samoa Joe, the 7-foot whatever. But it just didn't look good. And it just immediately, just because of the way he presented, as far as the way he moved, the moves he did, and just all together, the whole presentation, just get straight Great Khali vibes. And yeah, Khali had quite a run in WWE. But he's still not without his criticism. And if this guy looks, and if anyone just first off goes, Great Khali, that's what he is, early Great Khali, then no one's going to care for it. And you got Joe in this bad situation now. TJ Nasty says, worse than Veer. Way worse than Veer. Way worse than Veer, because outside of wrestling, Veer's the better athlete of the two. I've seen the guy play basketball. Veer's the better athlete. Because Veer can actually play baseball. Veer just couldn't play baseball anymore because of his injuries. This guy, he was, I'm going to tell you right now, he was the worst basketball player than Yao Ming. He's just put in center because he was tall. And he can kind of guard. But no. Worse than Veer. I wouldn't trust this guy to put the cervical clutch on anybody like Veer did on Monday. Veer's got his moves. Veer's probably going to get, I don't know. You can't compare the two. You can't compare the two at all. But yeah, this was a horrible way to end the show. Not good whatsoever. Veer did baseball. What? I didn't know this. Did you also know? Hey, Hasib Hassan, did you also know that Disney made a movie about Veer? So Veer played cricket in India. A baseball scout came to India, saw his pitching in cricket and said, can you throw a baseball? Throw me a baseball. Threw fast pitches in baseball. He then recruited him Paid him $1 million to play for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Hence the $1 Million Arm movie. Yes, Disney made a movie about Veer called The $1 Million Arm. Great movie, actually. Great movie. Veer didn't play much for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah. Played cricket. Like I said, he played cricket. It was a good pitcher in cricket. So then from that, the scouts saw him in India, got him a tryout with the Pirates, got signed to the Pirates. He played minor league. He did some with the Pirates. I don't know how many games he actually played. Hold on, let me pull it up. Rinku Singh. Yeah, so if you watch the movie, you know all of this. I haven't seen the movie in a while, but I know the movie's great. But he was brought from India, and he had a tryout in front of 20 major league teams in November 2008. He was pitching 92 miles an hour. The Pittsburgh Pirates were the ones that were the most impressed and signed him to the team. And so he signed to the team. Trained a little bit. He played for their Gulf Coast League. Let's see. He was re-signed in 2015. Did more Gulf Coast stuff. He then had Tommy John surgery in 2014, which basically ended his career. See, a lot of pitchers come back from Tommy John injury, but he really didn't. And in 2018, he got signed by WWE. Yeah, because he last played baseball in 2016. I think he only had like one start in the majors. And yeah. Well, yeah. And WWE won't tell you that. That fucking Disney made a movie about Veer. It was actually really good. Like, starred John Hamm. Also had Lake Bell in it. Bill Paxton was in this movie. Like, it had a good cast. Had a really good cast. I think what's his name? Zai Ma was in this movie as well. So it's like, geez, had a good cast. Good movie. Disney's $1 Million Arm, starring John Hamm. All about Rinku Singh. Well, Rinku Singh and the other guy that also got brought out for the tryout, but wasn't as good. But with that, enough rambling there. That was AEW Dynamite. You knew what I thought of the show. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of tonight's show. Remember, you can put a question in the super chat. You can put a super chat in the YouTube chat to make sure your question gets read on the air, or you can text into 510-906-1341. But with that, before we go to the text messages, let's check the polls. As far as the Twitch poll does go, 75% liked the show, 25% didn't like the show. As far as the YouTube poll, no, Twitter poll. Twitter poll. 51% liked the show, 37% thought it was just all right, and 10% did not like Dynamite. As far as the YouTube poll does go, 59% did not like it, 28% thought it was just all right, and 13% did not like Dynamite. One of the lower numbers for the because the YouTube poll gets the most votes. And usually for Dynamite, it's like 60-70%. But being 59, that's one of the lower I liked it percentages, to be honest, that we've had on the poll during a Dynamite review. So, that's not good. Versus says, will Jade Cargill go 173 undefeated like Goldberg in the 90s? Highly doubt it. Says, I like the AEW Dynamite tonight. Who do you think top best heel in AEW? Do you think AEW going to make 6-man tag team championships or women tag team championships? I don't think they do women's anytime soon, if at all. And 6-man is something they've wanted for a while. They wanted 6-man tag titles for well over. They were supposed to do them a year ago, and then that Jericho Cruise. So they wanted to announce the tag titles in February of 2021 and crown the first champions on the Jericho Cruise. Then the Jericho cruise got moved to October. They couldn't actually make it as far as getting enough people on the cruise, and it didn't happen. Kenny Omega's actually talked all about it. And last text message here goes, I like how people complain about Tony Storm getting pied in the face, but tonight AEW did a cake segment to the face. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong, but it's also Tony Storm and Nyla Rose. People hold Tony Storm at a higher regard than Nyla Rose. So, but you're not wrong. You are not wrong at all. Ahara Bubba, I never said Disney made a movie about Sadaman Singh. I said about 10 times here in the last 2 minutes or 5 minutes that Disney made a movie about Veer Mahan, Rinku Singh. Veer Mahan's real name is Rinku Singh. And Disney made a movie about him called $1 Million Arm. Hence why his finishing move, his setup to his finisher, his clothesline is called the $1 Million Arm. But no, I never said Disney made a movie about Satnam Singh. Said they made one about Veer, which I've mentioned plenty of times. I said Veer about 5 times in the last 5 minutes when I talk about that movie. But regardless, that was our review of AEW Dynamite tonight. Remember, on Friday, we're reviewing both shows, Dynamite and SmackDown. Because I've promised you guys that if it is a live Dynamite, or not Dynamite, SmackDown, Rampage to SmackDown. Because I've promised you guys that if it is a live Rampage, well, I'll review it. Plus, since it's airing before SmackDown, I have no excuse not to watch it anyways, because it's like, hey, it's not like, oh, well, it's after SmackDown, so that means you got to start the podcast later. No, I will still start at the same time as the normal SmackDown review, just watch another show before it. So, remember, Rampage airs at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific this week. It's airing early. I don't know exactly why. Maybe there's a basketball thing. I haven't looked. Actually, here, let's look at the TNT schedule really fast. TNT schedule. TNT for Friday. Why is Rampage early? Rampage is early because at 9 there's a basketball game. 9 and 11:30 there are basketball games. Makes sense. But it's a live episode of Rampage, so that should be cool. Plus, the world title match should be pretty good. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/PW Unlimited, and Twitter.com/PW Unlimited. I'll see you guys on Friday morning for the wrestling wrap up, and Friday evening for the SmackDown and Rampage reviews. Have a good one, guys.